I apologize because when I looked at my topic of discussion today, it said something about creating a movement or that. And so I spoke to Bob about that, and I said, I'm not really comfortable talking about that because I never created a movement before. But I will talk about something that I'm extremely confident in speaking about. That is this line right here. The quality of your brand will determine the quality of your clients. Okay?
Oh, by the way, I actually changed all of them and got them reprinted because of you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
So they didn't need to know that, but it's all good.
Here's my goal today. Here's my goal today, guys. It's been a mission and purpose in my life. Anybody that I meet, I want to leave them better than when I first met them. So when they come in the room and meet me, I want them to leave better than they were coming into the room. All right? So I'm going to share with you a shit ton of stories, and I just want you to grab, like Bob said, 1, 2, maybe 3 things that you can walk away with that is going to make you think differently about your business, yourself, your family, your friends, and how and why you're creating this agency or this business of yours in the first place. So before we get started, let me ask you a question. Why the hell are you here? Why are you here?
I want to grow my agency.
Excellent. Why are you here?
I want to build more influence.
Beautiful. Why are you here, my friend? Besides doing an awesome job on your first speaking gig.
To meet other agency owners.
Give him a big round of applause. That was a great job. A great job. So, here's the deal. We're all in here to increase the value and quality of our brands, right? Whether it's a personal brand or our brand as a business. So, here's what branding starts with and how I believe it and I see it. So I think that branding begins with belief, okay? And I believe that purpose drives brand. Purpose drives brand, okay? So here's a quick little backstory because probably 90% of you are probably like, who is this short little bald dude that's got all balled up with energy and, and shouting at me? So I'm going to share with you a quick little backstory. So back in, bear with me because my mother recently passed away of cancer. So, when I see her, it brings back some memories, okay? But all that aside, it was mid-60s, late 60s, these two individuals get married and they try to start a family. And for 16 years, they couldn't figure out why my mom couldn't get pregnant. So I remember like 5, 6 years old, I hear my mother, she's, God bless her, big Italian heart. And so I hear her telling this story to her girlfriends. Hanky, they call me Hanky, so Hanky's my miracle baby. It took us 16 years to have him. So now I'm 5, 6 years old going, holy shit, it takes 16 years? A woman is pregnant for 16 years? Like, God bless her. So, long story short, medicine gets better, and for all you Catholics out there, my mom goes in for a minor surgery, and right before the day of the Immaculate Conception, so these two get busy on the day of the Immaculate Conception, and yours truly was conceived on that day. So the funny thing is, the reason why I tell you this story is this. I don't know if I would have tried anything for 16 years without giving up, okay? And that's why I wrote my book, Refuse to Give Up, because these two right here are my purpose. And I want to inspire and empower you guys as you're growing your business and building your brand. Shit's gonna get tough, guys. Not everything is gonna be peachy. You're gonna fall on your ass. There's gonna be bad clients. There's gonna be good clients. No matter what, you gotta refuse to give up. And I'll talk about this in a little bit later, so my purpose, okay? Never to give up, no matter how hard it gets, right? And I inspire my clients to do the same thing as they build their brands, okay? So 38 years later, right? Well, let me back up a second. So I'm born, miracle baby's here. Parents are ecstatic. I'm about 2 years old, and my mom goes into my room. I'm in the crib, and you got to hear her tell this story. It's way better than this. But she said, you're blue in the face, unresponsive, and you look like you're 80% dead. And so they rushed me to the hospital, and I had some weird thing going on where I lost all the salt in my body. I just know bits and fragmented pieces of this story, so I can't tell you exactly what happened. But they brought me back to life. And as I got older, I said to myself, man, you try for 16 years to have a kid, and then when he's 2, he almost dies on us? Like, too much, right? So when I hear that story, I say to myself, I'm here on borrowed time. I'm here to make a difference in people's lives, no matter if you're just starting out, if you're, as well off as Bob is, if you're lost and don't have a clue, if you're a college kid, if you're 7, 8 years old, I don't give a shit. I'm here to make a difference in people's lives. And I just happen to get the God's given gift of design and creativity. And so I used that, and here I am. So 38 years later, I have a family of my own. So this is my little guy. God, he was like 6 days old. I'm talking about the guy on the right. Little Dante Christian, and there's my boy Canella. I was definitely a couple more pounds because I was eating with my wife while she was pregnant. But here's my little guy, right? And here's my new purpose, okay? This was just an Aruba. He killed all the guacamole, didn't leave me any. Right, he's getting a little bigger now, the little stud, right? So fast forward, I get into my business. So I've had my agency for 12 years, and I started out as a graphic designer, simply designing club flyers that used to get stuck on your friggin' car, in the parking lot. And so I did that for many years, about 3, 4 years, and just absolutely crushed it. But prior to that, I worked 8 years at a local hospital, just cleaning coffee pots. I was a registrar. I was checking insurances. I was just trying to climb my way up the corporate ladder. Once I found design, I died. I died and went to heaven. And so I started to I finally worked my way up in the hospital to get a really rewarding position. It was assistant director for special events director for the Sudden Infant Death Syndrome Center. I don't know if you guys know what SIDS is, but SIDS is when a baby dies suddenly and unexpectedly without any cause. And so I was in charge of creating events to raise money for SIDS, and then I had the blessing to take that money and actually spend it on other events that got families involved and together for support that all lost babies to SIDS. So Z100, one of the biggest radio stations in New York, I'm cold emailing people like 50 times a day. Finally, I get Z100, Danielle Monero from the morning show. She responds, and she says, I'll do an event with you. Just tell me what you want me to do. So my buddy at the time was a graphic designer, and this is before I knew design. So I said, dude, you got to do all the flyer work for me. Otherwise, this event's going to come out like shit. So I'm sitting next to him on Sunday as he's doing all the poster design and all of that, and I'm like enamored. So we do the event. It was awesome. And I was like, I gotta convince my boss to get the Photoshop program so I can do all this shit on my own. So she gets me the gift and the curse, right? So she gets me the program, and I just go crazy. I'm designing like crazy. So I built up a skill set. And so finally, the hospital started to take a turn for the worse, and they were kind of squeezing me out. And I said, you know what? I gotta make a move here. It's either I'm gonna be somebody's secretary after 8 years, or I'm gonna create this business and this lifestyle on my own. And so I decided to do that. But when I first started, I looked like that. And I did have hair back then, but that wasn't me. Anyway, I was everything in my business. I designed, I was the salesperson, I picked jobs up and dropped them off. I was everything in my business. And this is what happened. My business became my ball and chain. My business ran me, I didn't run my business, right? I had clients that I couldn't stand. And they weren't bad people. I was stressed out. I was burnt out. I didn't have a life. I designed 20 hours a day. Then I would go to the hospital, work 8 hours, come back. And it was an awful, awful, awful routine. Then to top it off, Hurricane Sandy comes in and wipes out 2 of my biggest clients. And now I got to make up $250,000 in revenue, and I can't. And so I didn't change my lifestyle, never told my wife what was going on. And it finally hit me. I was at a barbecue. Everybody's having a blast. And I'm miserable in the corner. And we finally get home, and it was weird because my wife likes that Real Housewives of Orange County. And she's watching this show, and here's the husband taking the wife out to lunch, about to tell her that he's bankrupt. And so I turned the TV off right after that. And I said, Tor, we got to talk. And she says, all right, what do you got? I says, well, the business took a big hit. I don't know what to do. There's no money in the bank. I got some cash in the safe, but I don't know what to tell you, but I'm a failure. And it hit, man, it hit hard, right? So she's like 5 foot, right? She's a little 100 pounds, jumps off the bed, runs into my office, grabs my laptop, jumps back in the bed. Now, she flips it open, and I go, this could go one or two ways. She's either going to help me or we're looking for divorce attorneys, right? So she opens up the laptop and says, let's get to work. So we went to town, and lo and behold, I found, well, before that, I felt like this, okay? I didn't know where the hell I was going, all right? And I felt about that small too, until I met this. And then as I tried to get my shit back together, this is what I looked like, and this is what I felt like, right? And then I met this dude.
Hey, my name is Russell Brunson, and I've had a chance to work with Henry a lot over the last probably year and a half or so. And it's funny because I first connected him really because of his message and his mission, and just really aligned with him as a person. And I obviously have a lot of designers work for me, a lot of people work for me on different things. I build a lot of my own funnels. But I wanted initially just to have Henry work on a couple of projects to see what he was able to do. And what came back was amazing. And because of that now, Henry is a big part of the ClickFunnels movement and what we're doing. He's doing images for us every single day. He's doing branding, he's doing designs, he's doing all sorts of stuff. He's also doing designs for some of my personal projects on the side as well. But he's got such a good eye for not just what looks good, but what gives your customers and your potential customers an emotional response, emotional impact that doesn't leave them easily. So Henry is just such a good person, good designer, but even a better person, and someone that we are so glad to have as part of our team.
So this dude changed my life a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. He saw something in me that I didn't see. And he coached me through this whole shift in my thinking. And it was crazy because here's a little something that you guys definitely need to understand. I didn't have a pot to piss in at this point, right? I was listening to this guy's podcast, and he kept talking about this Inner Circle program, and this is how Bob and I met. And he kept talking about it, so I says, I gotta figure this out. What the hell is this Inner Circle program? So I go through the funnel. And then they tell me it's 25 G's to join. And I almost died. And I said, I don't have that, you know? And so at the time, there was this other program, which was about 10 G's. And I said, and they did the whole spiel. But for 10 G's, it was about the same program. So I said, it's not if this works, it's when this works. It's not if this works, it's when this works. And I gave him 10 G's that I didn't have. And I just went to work. And so I'll never forget it. We have our first call, and I give him my whole story. I had 60 minutes with him. We're both hysterical crying. He turns around and pays me $6,000 right there on the spot to help him with the .com Secrets book. Design and the brand, not the book cover, I didn't do that, but all the marketing and shit for it. And that just, I remember, I was like, what was that? I don't think I ever got paid that much at one lump sign ever. And that was it. I made 60% of my investment back in one day because of my mindset. I said, it's if this works, it's when this works, right? 4 months after, no, it was 4 weeks after that, made another 4. 16 months later, I generated over $500,000 in revenue, right? It's mind over matter. And so here's the deal. So after getting my shit together and taking Russell's advice, I got more focused. And this helped everything. And so when I hear you guys talking about niching down, that was the game changer. Yes, I had FOMO at first, but niching down makes everything easy. And I said, all right, it's time to go to work. And I'm not just going to go to work. I am going to make a name for myself. And that's when I invested into my personal brand. So here's the deal. Quality attracts quality, all right? Okay, so do you want to be perceived like this dude when you come to market? Or do you want to be perceived like this dude? Where's my man Adam? There he is. So Adam comes to me about a year ago and says, dude, love your stuff. Been watching your videos. You got me with that one line. I'm not going to lie. The quality of your brand will determine the quality of your client. And he signed up for like a $20,000 program right on the spot. He said, when people Google me, nothing comes up but some old videos of me on stage in my old MLM days. I said, well, we're going to change that. So we went in, developed his logo, developed his social media presence, developed his website. Just let that play. And we put Adam on the, not that, so Adam was already successful. He said to me, I want you to make me legit now. And I said, I got you, don't worry about it. So we created the website. And that's Adam's brand now. He's got something that he's so proud to promote. What does that do to his confidence level when he goes out and sells? Jacks it up. Just imagine what you could close when you're running on all 12 cylinders, right? The impact you're going to make to your audience when you're at that confidence level, right? So and I had such an awesome, it was so awesome for me to work with Adam because he knew what he wanted. He was like, I just need somebody to do it. This guy leveraged expertise and got where he wanted to be a hell of a lot faster. And that's really the reason why I do what I do. So here's Brenly. Brenly Shapiro's from Canada. I forget exactly where, Ontario. And she's a unique story. She's in the mindset coaching / so she mind gym and so she's an athletic coach and she's a mindset coach together, right? Been doing it for 20 years. She was getting paid $200 an hour for consult. I don't know about you, but anybody doing anything for 20 years that's a subject matter expert should not be getting paid $200 an hour. Okay? I get paid $2,000 an hour, right? And I'm worth every penny because I believe it, right? So she had some mindset issues because she didn't think she was good enough. I said, you've been doing this for 20 years. People should be paying you $20,000 for your expertise, right? So hit the next slide. So this was her website. Just let this play. This was her website before she got to me, basically. And it just gave me a headache, to be honest with you. I'm not, and I told this to her face, and I would. And I told her I was using her today, so she was like, all right, go for it. So this was the website that, that she brought me, right? So here's what we did. We completely cleaned it up, made it more streamlined, featured her as the subject matter expert. And this is a WordPress site, but we also did her funnel, which I'm going to show you in a second. And this was done in ClickFunnels. And I'll show you in a second. So this is her services page. This was a mess. So I came in and I cleaned it all up. Now, I don't do this stuff. I used to do all this on my own. Now I have a team of 12 people that execute it all for me. I just do the strategy with the client. I don't mess with this stuff anymore, okay? But here's the funnel. This is a funnel in ClickFunnels, okay? This is gonna sell her online course. Because one of her goals in our strategy was to help her make money while she slept, okay? So taking that 20 years experience and putting it in a course is what she didn't have and she needed. So that's what we did for her. So we created her social media identity. Keep going. This is her LinkedIn. This is her Twitter. This is her YouTube channel. Okay, so stop here for a second. Those designs that I showed you, so here's some tips, some tactical tips to help you with your design, right? And I know you guys aren't designers, but if you guys want to attract a high quality client, less is more. I'll say it again. Less is more, okay? Guys like Bob, guys like Russell, these higher end guys do not want clutter. So keep it simple. Less is more. And that's what we did here. We took out, just like Justin and I forget your partner's name, sorry, and Luke. They took away, they stripped out, they niched it down. And that's the key. That is the key. So this is Paul Connor. Paul Connor is this guy blew my mind when it comes to what he does. I mean, he's into implicit and explicit thinking. I mean, this guy is a genius when it comes to market research and knowing the market or knowing your audience better than they even know themselves. But he had a really hard time putting himself out there and really positioning himself as a subject matter expert online. So this is what his website looked like before we got there. There you go. So this was his homepage. Not much going on. This doesn't get me excited. And this guy's a wealth of information. Look at the brands he worked with, right? Didn't get me excited though. Next slide. There we go. There we go. So this is what his site looks like now. All right, and we've optimized this site to win and to generate lead and to position himself as a subject matter expert, okay? So this is WordPress. I'll show you his funnel. Now this is his funnel. This is built in ClickFunnels, guys. I have a couple clients in the 2 comma, not club, but this thing that Russell's doing now, and they fly out and they all share funnels. And Sandy says, your ears must have been ringing last Friday. I says, why? She says, I showed everybody my funnel and everybody's jaw dropped because my funnel looked nothing like anybody else's. And I said, that was my plan. Everybody's funnel looks the same. And so they don't call me Unique Designz for nothing. Like, I want your design to look unique, right? So we'll flip to the next. So we helped, so he sat down with me, Paul, and really we strategized on how to come to market, how to reposition himself as a subject matter expert, and really start to win again. See if you can, okay, so Bob mentioned it before, I'll say it again, positioning is everything. Okay, so, hit it again. Do you want to be seen as replaceable, disposable, and as a commodity, yes or no? Okay. Hit it, boss. How about this? Would you rather be seen as a subject matter expert, yes or no? Yes. I didn't hear you. Yes. All right, that's what I'm talking about. All right, so you get what you tolerate. quick little story. I used to, when shit hit the fan and I was trying to figure it all out, Fiverr came out, destroyed the design industry, but I said, you know what? If I can't beat them, I'll join them. So this is a funny story. So I joined Fiverr as a Fiverr. Bob, I don't even think you noticed. I joined Fiverr as a Fiverr designer. And I'm cranking like 90-hour days, $5 a pop, doing business cards, brochures, right? Then I finally get this woman to pay for a business card design, double-sided, $5. Took me 9 hours with the revisions. Do the math. What was I getting paid an hour? There you go, sir. And I said, this isn't sustainable. Okay? You get what you tolerate. Okay? And I actually thanked that woman because I said, you are my last Fiverr client. All right? So you get what you tolerate. So you have to level up your thinking. Okay? What are you worth? How long have you been doing this? What's your expertise? These people want to pay a premium. All right? But you got to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, why would I? Okay? So you get what you tolerate. And so, next slide. Let's get focused. All right? Just to piggyback off of what these guys said. Next slide. Keep going. Who are you speaking to? We got to get clear on that, guys. Who are we speaking to? Who do we want to serve? Who do we enjoy serving? Right? Next slide. So, most of you guys market like this. You guys want to make all these people happy. And I do too, but it's not going to work. Because it's impossible. You can stay here. It's impossible to try to narrow a message down to that many people. However, if I knew her challenges, I know what to do. My marketing becomes easier. My cost per acquisition lowers because I'm spot on. All right? So, next slide. Keep going. You got to know their pains. You got to know their pains. You got to know what they're struggling with. People ask me all the time on Instagram. I have 103,000 people follow me on Instagram right now. And the same question, 103,000 times, how do I build my following? I said, the bigger question is, why should anybody follow you? Right? So you got to know their pain points. And you got to talk to them. And then you're going to build that connection. And it's going to be a game changer. So keep going. So you got to know who their pain points are, right? You know, you want to solve this guy's pain points, right? Next slide. So the brand who frames the problem best, right, has the best chance of winning the business. Okay? The brand who frames, so you can't just market the solution, guys. You got to market the problem. People move towards the fear of pain. Okay? They will move much faster if there's fire on their ass than if there's a Lamborghini in front of them. I'm telling you right now. All right? So, know their pain point. Next slide. So, here's a question for you guys. Why should they, well, I should say this. Why are your audience choosing your competitors over you? Did you ever think about that one? My mentor asked me that question. I almost fell over when he first asked me that. I said, shit, that was a good question. So I started thinking, why are people hiring my competitors? I'll get into a funny story in a second. So write that question down and start thinking about it. Next slide. All right. So you are what you attract. Okay? Next slide. And I'll talk about that. Next slide. Okay, so how I lost a $100,000 deal. Okay, this was a couple years ago. I was pissed. 100K, one client. It was a big food distribution company. They found me online and they said, like your work, pretty sharp. We want you to do a full rebrand. I said, all right. Let's book a call. Who do I got to talk to? So it was like the office manager. Well, we got to talk to the VP of marketing. All right, let's get him on the phone. So I didn't hear from him for about a week and a half. So I start doing a little follow-up. And I finally get an email back. And she says, do you have a second? And I said, oh, this could be good. Right? So she gets on the phone and she says, I'm sorry to waste your time. And that just broke me, right? Sorry to waste your time, but the VP of marketing looked at your website and just didn't think you were the right fit. I says, why? She said, you didn't look big enough. That's what she said. You didn't look credible enough. You didn't look authoritative enough, right? I threw that authoritative in there, but she basically broke my heart and basically said, you're too small for us. And it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. Why? Because I changed my game from that day on. And so the best investment you can make is in yourself. The best investment you can make is in yourself and your personal brand. Because clearly, your agency is simply an offshoot of you. It's simply an offshoot of you. So when you build yourself up, your business and brand is going to benefit. All right? So next slide. So hit play. So this is my new website. Unique Designz with a Z.net. So I went to town and I made sure that this website looked the part. All right, so how we do it, why we do it. It's time to get serious. Got a bunch of credibility, social proof. Worked with Bon Jovi for 2 world tours. I knew his brother, brought me on board, and I worked with him for 2 world tours. So my designs basically toured the world with Bon Jovi. All right? So now when you come to my website, I got to qualify you. I got to make sure you're a good fit. Right? Different way of thinking. Right? Next slide. And I don't say that like in a jerk-off way. I don't. I say it from a level of confidence because I know my worth and I know when you invest in me, what the ROI is going to be. And I'm not tolerating nonsense anymore. All right? And that's it. And so what makes you unique? Ask yourself that question. Bob sort of touched on that before. Somebody did. What makes you different? Right? What makes you different? Because there's a lot of competition out there, guys. Look at the amount of agency owners in this room right here. Right? Times that by like 1 million. Right? So, next slide. What makes you unique? Like this guy. Like this guy. Right? That's unique. I just saw that picture. I go, I got to put it in the slide. I just got to put it in the slide. Next. So designing your personal brand. You got to get serious. The best investment you can make is in yourself. Right? And when you look the part, you can charge the part. And I'll tell you that. I'll get into that in a second. Go ahead. Next. So any subject matter expert in branding will tell you this. 3 of them told you this today. See the common denominator, guys? People buy people first. You see the big brands doing it now. You see the big brands are marketing way different than what they used to, even just 4 or 5 years ago, right? So people buy people first, then they buy your product or service. So why not put your best foot forward, right? Otherwise, you're going to be a disposable, replaceable commodity. That's the end result if you want to play small, okay? I told you, I'm a little guy, but I got a little fire underneath me. So how are you going to deliver the solution? Have you thought about that? Have you thought about your process and system? Right? And now I'm going to get into a story. I got some time. So here's what happened. So structure, you should write this one down. This one's good. Structure will lead you to all the freedom you'll ever desire. Structure, I thought this was asked backwards when it was first told to me. I didn't understand it. And I figured it out once my mentor taught me what this meant. So hit next slide, please. So if you don't have structure, this is what could happen to your business. All right? And not too long ago, this happened to my business. all right? So I started cranking. I thought I was hot shit, but I didn't have my processes and systems as down pat as I thought. End of last year, I get a client that I should have never brought on, right? I didn't qualify him. He comes on board, turned into a big shit show. Bad. Smear campaign. Smear campaign. I woke up one morning. I had aunts and uncles texting me going, I just got a PM from somebody in like Bali saying that you were a piece of shit. So here's what this man did. Instead of so you can get chatbots to give you positive reviews, this guy flipped it and went on all my platforms and gave me all negative reviews. It was never him. He used chatbot. He used people from like ninth world countries. And so I woke up to this and said, so my wife sees this and she goes, oh, you're out of business. And I said, I don't know, maybe. This was bad. This was bad. And this was right when Dante was born too. So, you know, transition into fatherhood wasn't that easy for me. All right. So there was a lot of shit going down at that time of my life. And then this hits me. Right. So my wife's a beautiful writer. She wrote a statement on all my platforms. Hold on a second. Yeah. All right. You can stay here. She writes a statement. And she said, Henry, off the internet. You can't reply to any of these comments because we know you, right? So I stayed off the internet for a day, and that night I had to go on Facebook and read these comments, and I was surprised. It's about 200 comments there. And my audience, my followers, all came to bat for me and said, it's just a speed bump, bro. We all love you. And we know you're an amazing person. And then they started digging dirt on this dude. Oh my God. The shit that we found out with this guy, right? And I just said, I'm good. I don't need to retaliate. My audience knows who I am. And brand reputation is everything. And so I went on with my day, okay? But here's what happened. It took a toll. I'd be lying to you today if I said I wasn't out of commission for like 3 months. I was so psychologically walloped. I thought I was done, honestly. I thought I was out of business. Business wasn't coming in. And I just thought, yeah, maybe this guy got me. Maybe he got me. And then I realized, and then I started saying, well, yeah, you're a decent sized brand now. People are starting to really recognize you. When shit hits the fan like this, word spreads really quick, and it's not just a bump, it's a pummel. And I said, maybe you are done. And then I said, nah. I thought to my purpose. I refused to give up. I said, we'll figure this out. So I hired a sales coach, and he was more than a sales coach. One day, when I told him I was about done, he says to me, Henry, you know why the windshield of a car is bigger than the rearview mirror? I says, why? He says, because you're not fucking going that way. Knock it off. Get the hell back on the saddle and move. And that hit me. That hit me. And then I started to think about my son. I go, would he want to see his father like this? Like some sissy? Like crying and playing victim of himself? No. So I went to town, found another mentor. 25 years into the game, does exactly what I do. I pay him $1,000 an hour, and I meet with him twice a month, and I listen. Every time I talk to him, I 5x my return. And every time I do it, I private message him and tell him what happened. And this gets him pumped, And so I narrowed my focus, and I said, I'm going to use one mentor, and I'm just going to go all in. but he changed the way that I thought. And then he told me, you get what you tolerate. So do you want to play small for the rest of your life, or do you want to work with big dogs? And I said, I want to work with big dogs. He says, then act like it. Because the big dogs aren't going to hire you if they think you're a small dog. I said, fair enough. He says, you got the talent, you got the energy, so go out there and do it. That was it. 100K client, 100K client, 100K client. Holy shit. So this year I worked with 8 people. 8 people. Last year I worked with 48 people. I made the same amount of money. I made the same amount of money. Why? I niched the hell out of what I wanted to do. I found the confidence in myself, and I just went. And then I really started to get into some OG personal development stuff, Jim Rohn style, and I just said, if I'm going to get to the next level, I got to work on me. And that's, and the byproduct is going to be a phenomenal business, and you're going to impact thousands of people. And so my Instagram grew from 50,000 in October to 103,000 because I changed my content, and I said, I'm not going to post another goddamn Instagram post if this post is not going to help somebody. And I don't care if you're in India or you're in New York City. People need help, and you just never know how you're going to impact people, so just put it out there, right? And that's what happened. Changed my whole life. So before people forget what you say, they forget what you do, but they'll never forget how you make them feel. And so as you're building your business and building your personal brand, and Bob does a really good job with this, you make them feel like they're special. You make them feel like you care. You make them feel, because they'll forget about everything else. It's about how you make them feel, okay? Next slide. So if you start solving bigger problems, you'll start cashing bigger paychecks. Write that down. If you start solving bigger problems, you'll start cashing bigger paychecks. Next slide. So this is a check, and this is just a 50% deposit. October 25th, 2018. 40 grand. That's half. That's 50% down. Right? I walked to the bank. I was telling Adam and this yesterday at dinner. I said, I went to the bank to cash that check, and they were like, they said, it's gonna clear tomorrow. I said, okay. And I walked out like I cashed 50 of them already. But that's what happens when you start to solve bigger problems for your clients. You start to cash bigger checks. Okay? So I don't, and I have to say, I preface, I'm not sitting here to show off and, oh, look at me, $40,000 check. That's not me. I just want to show and prove. I say this to my clients all the time. Funny thing, growing up in high school, I was one of 50 white kids in my whole school. And when we used to get out in the park and used to bust each other's balls, and we didn't believe them. If somebody was trying to get one over on us, we would say, show and prove. And if they couldn't, we knew you were bullshit at the end of the day. So I tell my clients, show and prove. So that's the reason why I post that, nothing else. I'm just showing and proving. And if I can do it, guys, I got a 740 on my SATs, all right, combined. My old boss said I should have signed you up for the Special Olympics, he said. If I knew you got a 720 on your SATs. So if I can do it, you could do it. All right? So the question really is, what business are you really in? Write that one down. Because you guys are thinking you're a marketing agency, I'm a Facebook ads guy. No, you're not. What business are you really in? People ask me that now. I got the answer. 2 seconds. What business are you really in? I'm in the people business. I'm in the confidence building business. I'm in the time compression business. You want to get to where you want to be faster? Come talk to me. That's it. And I say it with that confidence level because I've done it over and over and over. I've been doing it for 12 years. So what business are you really in? Ask yourself that question. You'll be surprised what answer you get. Because it's not this high in the pie shit. It's this deep down stuff that people are really buying. Okay? That's what they're buying from you. All right? So level up your brand. You're going to level up the clients that you attract. Bottom line. Bottom line. You level up your brand. You invest in you. Best investment you could ever make. All right? Next slide. So if you want to charge the part, you better look the part. That's just half of it. You better deliver the part. All right? You better deliver the part. So if you want to charge the part, you better level up and you better look the part. But best yet, deliver the part, and you'll have forever clients. All right? Next slide. So here's where to find me. Unique Designz with a Z.net. I got the Brand Doctor podcast on iTunes. Instagram is where I hang out the most, the Brand DR. YouTube, I got over 1,000 videos on YouTube. They're getting better, but the beginning ones were like rough. But I got a little better with that. LinkedIn, Facebook, and on Twitter, the Brand Doctor with the underscores. Pain in the ass, but got it. Next. So I want to leave you with one story before I go. And I got 10 minutes. I did pretty good. Scared. So I tell this story to all my clients, and I've told it 1,000 times, but I'll tell it to you if you haven't heard it. So when I was about 8 years old, my parents signed me. I was a little chunky kid. But they signed me up for soccer, the BYAA, the town league, and I hated it. Hated it. And so that year, for whatever reason, we got into the championship game. Now, the whole season, Bob, you'll appreciate this one because you're a soccer dude. The whole season, I never touched the ball. Because every time the ball was on this side of the field, my fat ass was down here. And every time I chased the ball would be down there. So I'm like, all right, enough's enough. So championship game, there's like 300 people on the side of the sideline there. And same thing, right? So I'm exhausted. I'm shot. And I'm just about to walk off the field. Like, I'm done. And I look over to my right. And out of the 300 people, I see one person. I see one person. And it's my dad. Now, I didn't tell you this story, but my parents went through a horrible divorce. And my mom took off, and my father raised me from 8 years old on. And I saw nobody in that sideline but him going, go, get the ball, you son of a bitch. That's all I heard. And I ran like hell. And now I'm a bruiser, right? I got to that ball, boy. Got it down the field, and I just went one of these. Boom! Fucking went in.
Yeah.
That was it. And anytime I'm having a bad day, I think of that story. So anytime you're having a bad day, you want to close up shop, you want to give up, you want to throw in the towel, maybe this isn't for me, just remember that story. Maybe it'll do something for you, maybe it won't. But I tell you, it works for me every time. Thank you.